to you?
Very good.
Okay. All righty.
My agenda. Lost it. Oh, where is it?
Are you seeing that you're the host?
I am not. I'm trying to find where that
There it
is.
Look up at the top of your screen. If you talk, look up at the top of your screen. Talk.
Hold on.
Right
I got, oh, there it is. Okay. I didn't have the participant list open, that's all.
I'm just looking for my agenda, folks.
Okay.
Well, I can pull the agenda up if you want.
No, I'm good. That's fine.
Okay, because I know I know Liz is looking for it.
Yeah, I'll just print it out from here.
Okay, all right, then I'm going to sign off from now, and I'll see you guys at 7.
Very good. Thank you, Roxanne.
About, okay, have a good meeting.
Thanks.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks.
I'll see you at 7.
See you at 7. Bye-bye. Okay, I have 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. At this point, I will entertain citizens' comments. Anybody who would like to address the committee on anything? No, any citizens' comments? Karen, I know you wanted to say something. You're on mute. Hey, Mike.
There, can you hear me? No.
I can hear you now, Karen.
Yes.
You're on mute again. I can't hear you.
I'm mute.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you muted yourself again.
I can't get, there we go. Nope.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Now we can hear me?
Now I can hear. We can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Hi, this is Karen Parkinson from 55 Rose Hill Road, Ledyard, Connecticut. I'm president of the Tri-Town Trail. I'd like to read a memo developed by our board of directors to the Land Use Committee, and I will submit this in written format, hard copy to Roxanne, okay? It's a request for a field walk to the developing Tri-Town Trail. Good evening, councilors. I'm here tonight to request a field walk by this committee. This field walk will be from Preston Park across 117 to the open field, which is town-owned, following the path to the woods, following the path through the woods to Joe Clark Brook, across the temporary bridge, then on the footpath up the ledge and through the easement properties, Ross and Bowden, to the stone wall opening into the Clark Farm meadow, which is under the utility high wires, to the farm road leading to Joe Clark Brook, where there is no bridge. This initial footpath follows plans dated December 20th, 2016 on file in the Ledyard Planner's Office. This is the DEP grant, Tri-Town Trail, northern section, site improvements, and trail alignment. This entire walk, round trip, is about 90 minutes. We would like to allow 2 hours for the walk and a question answer period. We would like to abide by the current COVID-19 guidelines and limit to a group of 5, 3 counselors, and 2 members of the Tri-Town Board of Directors. Should more counselors or other town officials wish to attend, we can arrange for 2 groups of 5. Please note that I first contacted Town Councilor Chairman Linda Davis for her permission to contact the Land Use Committee. The Tri-Town Trail Association respectfully requests this field walk prior to resuming our discussions about the future of this property for the long-term plan of the eventual multi-use trail. Yes, there was absolutely no trail when this started, not even a deer path. The town council gave permission for us to trailblaze, which we have been diligently working on since last November. Hundreds of man-hours have been spent by the committee members and a few volunteers, friends of the trail, on this effort. All are in awe of the sheer beauty and tranquility of this trail. It is truly a jewel for Ledyard, and we remain committed to somehow making this a reality. Respectfully, Karen Parkinson. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Do we have any other citizens' comments? I have no informational items. I'll entertain a motion to approve and review and approve the prior meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Like Washington, Councilor Washington.
Do I hear a second? Although, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. On to old business, continued discussion, possible action on the motion to the Tri-Town Trail Committee, item number 1. So I'd like to take Karen up on her generous offer for doing a field walk. So at some point I'll get together with Roxanne to schedule something here in the near future. Karen, I will have to say that, yeah, I will have to take care of something as far as the COVID-19 to maintain the separation, everything else like that, but recognize that if we do, we'll have to post this as a meeting. So anybody from the public who wishes to attend can also attend. We'll say that. So we may have to make accommodations for the public as well, just to let you do that. I'll get together with Roxanne to figure out, and I'll work with Tony and Mike to figure out what's a good time. More than likely, I'm gonna guess based on Tony and Mike's availability, it's probably gonna be like either a Saturday or a Sunday morning.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get back to, I'll have Roxanne get a hold of you, or I'll text you when we come up with a date to see that the dates works for you, for the Tri-Town Trail Committee as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'll schedule field walk. Okay, moving on to old business item number 2. Possible action to periodically review the list of town-owned property and update accordingly for the assignment of administrative control. Hey, Liz, I know you said you were gonna get together the list of administrative control. Did you get able to work on that?
I have it.
You have it? Did you send that to us? I didn't see it in the agenda packet.
You sure?
Everything I looked at in the agenda packet was the old.
So, yeah, it's the old stuff, 5/14/2014.
Yeah, in 2008. So I didn't see.
I have one that says submitted to town clerk's office on 2/24/2017.
Yeah. Oh, there's an update, and yeah, 2/22/17. I take that back. That is the last update in 2017.
I wasn't really sure what to do with this. So I can update it. I mean, we have had a couple of subdivisions with open space, Quakertown Meadows, Long Cove Road, and Eagles Landing, where we just picked up that big piece next to the Clark farm, not the Clark farm, Nathan Lester House.
Like the house, right.
There is one thing I wanted to bring up this evening. is, we talked about a couple of these. We had a resident that's been contacting me over the last couple weeks who lives at 38 Bittersweet Drive. And he wanted permission to sort of blaze a trail on property behind him at 40A so that, members of the neighborhood could, sort of use it for walking, because it's sort of this weird, like, horseshoe snake type. It's really hard to explain, but I'm going to show it to you if you can see. Let's see what we got. It's really hard to see, but see that weird shape?
Yeah, that was the open space that was left in that subdivision years ago.
Yes. Open space, but it also has a basin on it. And it states in the list, it's our basin, states in the list that the mayor and the DPW director have the administrative control. I spoke to Steve, and he says, he doesn't really care if they walk on it, but he doesn't think maybe putting a trail there would necessarily be appropriate. But, what do I say to these people? I can't really say that, just go ahead and, walk on it. So I guess.
Yeah, what Steve doesn't want to do is create a trail that might disturb the basin, the retention basin.
Plus, coming off the Avery Hill Road, it's a pretty steep climb.
Yeah,
it's probably about 20 feet right off the road.
Right, I was about to say, I remember that. That's a pretty steep drop right there.
Yes.
I don't know if I would be in favor of, and Mike and Tony, your opinion as well, but personally, I don't think putting a trail back in there is probably a good idea, especially with the detention basin that's in there. Maybe a question for the Conservation Commission to see if they may be interested in doing something over there as well.
Okay.
When does a hand-cut path that they create become a trail? Or does it become a trail only because the town's now aware of it?
I mean, I don't know. I get the impression they've been walking on it anyway.
That's what I mean. If you walk.
And that's fine if you want to walk through the woods. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say anything. It's open space, but we do have the basin there, and there's a right of way for DPW to the basin.
If it's deeded open space,
Yes.
Yeah.
then as far as blazing a trail, they can walk through it without actually, quote, blazing a trail.
Correct.
So I'm not sure what they don't need permission to walk on it because it's deeded open space. It's the whole purpose. So I'm not sure what if their plans to get a bulldozer and cut a path through that you can drive a car on.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't either. I think if their plan is just to walk through the woods,
Yes.
they've got a lot of kids, just
go for it.
just mark the trail with some tape so everybody follows the same path, and in a year from now, it'll be a trail.
Right. Perfect.
You see these finger trails from properties. If you walk any of the Avalonia properties, everybody's backyard has a little trail that slides back into them. I mean, it's not blazed, it's not official, but you see them as you walk along. You're in somebody's backyard and there's the trail connecting in.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, I don't think there's any wetlands out there, but it looks like there's some, pretty steep slopes out there, So, I mean, hey, if they want to go climbing, it's up to them.
That's the whole idea. If you're going out for a nice hike, it's nice to have some elevation you got to climb.
Right.
Going like over to Lantern Hill or something, it's got some good elevation.
Yeah.
It may only be 20 feet, but.
Right. So I'll let him know that we're, the town is okay with them just walking on the property. If they, like you said, they want to mark it with tape or maybe put a little mark on the tree in paint, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. But not a formal not establishing a formal trail.
Right. I guess he wanted to know from me, what can we do there? And I said, well, I don't know.
You can walk on it.
Right, you can walk on it. Right.
Walk on it. That's about all you can do.
Okay. Then that will be my answer. Now, do you want me for the next meeting to update this list?
Yeah, just update the list
and
of
add the new stuff?
Yeah, anything that's been newly added to the town since the last time it was updated in 2017.
Okay. All right.
Probably like 3 or 4 properties I can think of, but
well, there may have been some foreclosures too, and the town maybe owns some property from that.
Yeah, the foreclosures properties that have houses and stuff on that. Yeah, we probably got to list that, but those won't stay on the list for very long because we'll ultimately turn around and sell those.
Gotcha. Okay.
Item number 4, the Clark Farm. I've got no update for the Clark Farm. I don't know if anybody else does. Oh, no, take it back. Item number 3, blight enforcement.
I did ask
Got the
Kyle,
updated- No,
I
got the
did ask
updated
Kyle to
list.
send it out. I'm sorry, excuse me.
No, Kyle, we got the list that's in the agenda package just for today that Kyle put out, that we just got today, so. Doesn't look like anything, looking at it quickly. Nothing other than the same kind of things that he's been working with. Not too many items, that's not too bad.
I have a question on, I see one in here. It says addressing as a zoning violation for junk. What's the difference between that and regular blight enforcement? Or does that mean something more formal is in the works?
That sounds like it's something more formal in the works. 'Cause
Right,
there is-
so-
there is, so there's a difference between the blight ordinance and the zoning enforcement action.
Yes. So maybe whatever's on the property didn't qualify as blight in accordance with the ordinance. So therefore, we would consider it a junkyard, and junkyards are not permitted in residential zones. Therefore, it turns into a zoning violation. So,
Okay.
you know, the blight ordinance pretty much spells out what is blight. And then if it's not that, then it could be a junkyard.
We have a couple of those in town.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And may I add, Kyle said to let you know that nothing's really changed since the last month, you know, with all the COVID. You know, he's been doing inspections still, but, you know, it's not quite, it hasn't been quite as intense.
Yep, no, understood.
He does the ones he has to do.
Yes.
Right.
Got it. Well, we get it. That's good. Okay, item number 4 under old business, the Clark Farm. I think that'd be earlier when I misspoke. I have no action for that. Anybody else has any updates or comments? I have no other old business. Under new business, so I'll make the motion. I make a motion to approve the proposed updated land use fee schedules to become effective on July 1st, 2020 as follows. Appendix Ordinance 300 TAC 003 Town Ledger Permit Fee and Inspection Fee Schedule for Building. Appendix Ordinance 300 TAC 008 an ordinance establishing planning and zoning fees for subdivision, new construction, alteration, change of use and zoning permit applications in the town of Ledyard. Appendix Ordinance 300 TAC 010 an ordinance establishing fee schedule for geographic information system data in the town of Ledyard. And Appendix B, Ordinance 300, TAC 013, an ordinance establishing inland wetlands watercourses commission and providing for a fee structure for applications. So looking through all of these, I don't know if anybody's had the time. So Liz, I know you did a lot of legwork. I don't know if you want to briefly explain the justification for the updates to the fee schedules.
Right. So our staff collectively gathered all land use fees from surrounding towns. And we looked at them. The building department, Randy made a recommendation. So we now charge like $10 for the first 1,000, $8 for the second. So we recommended just $10 across the board, which most towns do. So we don't have to worry about the 10 and 8. So that's a very minimal sort of, revision. The Planning and Zoning Commission fees, we raised some of them because we have to cover the cost of our advertising. And, you know, the average cost for advertising is like $150 to $200. So even if we don't have a public hearing, we still have to notice the decision. So there's, depending on what the size is. So we sort of averaged it out there. With regards to planning and zoning, zoning permit fees, I recommended lowering some and raising some. So, you know, we charged $40 for a deck and we charged $40 for a single family residence. And there's a lot more work involved in a single family residence. You get the site plan in, you have to check the subdivision to make sure it meets any, you know, conditions of the subdivision. then you have to do a pretty lengthy permit, and then you have to do foundation inspections, ENS inspections. There's a lot to it. I raised that to 100 for a new single family house, but I lowered, buildings up to a certain percent to $25. Okay, like we require zoning permits for sheds up to 200 without building permits, but we were still charging $40, so it cost someone 100. Of course, 60 of it goes to the state, and they haven't raised that yet. And then for the next one up, buildings over 1,000, we charged 40, the regular what we were. So I tried to change them commercial permits a little higher. So we didn't go crazy. The wetlands fees are nominally changed just to cover our advertising costs. So that's where we are with those. ZBA, it was really funny because ZBA, the only place that we could find a fee was on the application form.
Yeah, so the one thing I did notice in the updates is that where you recommend putting them is probably not right because the separation between ZBA and the rest of land use.
Right, but there's still land use applications.
Understood. I don't have a problem with the fee. I think it's just where we're putting it. Putting it into the zoning and planning fee structure.
Yep.
It's probably not the right place. I don't know where is.
Right.
I mean, we may need to create some other document for ZBA.
Yes, because there is none now.
Right. So that may be something we need to take into the future. So
Yes.
I don't think we should be putting that into the planning and zoning fee structure document. It should be either a standalone document or a separate ordinance. So I'm not even sure. The issue is that there's no ordinance that creates ZBA because it's only done by what state statute says. Where every other I couldn't find I didn't see a ZBA or
There is a ZBA ordinance because Roxanne sent it to me and I don't have it right in front of me right now.
I was looking for
But
it.
there's no fee, and I can send it to you after the meeting.
But where we should do is we should update that ordinance to add the fee structure into their ordinance, if that's the
Okay.
case. 'Cause that's what I looked quickly this afternoon. I couldn't find, I don't know why I couldn't find it. But that's the fee ordinance, the fee structure for ZBA should go into their ordinance.
Okay,
And it had a lot to do with the separation based upon, the way the statute, because ZBA is the the appeals process for zoning. And also the fact that they're appointed separately. One group is appointed by the town council, the other group is appointed by the mayor. So the fee structure
Okay.
should be separate, maintained, and separate identities and not in one co-location. In the GIS, I was looking at that, the GIS fee structure. I saw them update to that.
so there is no update, and I'm going to have to do a little more research to see where those outrageous prices came from. So if somebody comes into the office or to the town clerk's office or to our office and asks for a copy of a 24 by 36 map, I think we charge $4, something like that. But these GIS fees are huge, and I don't know if these are fees that are charged if we have to go through People GIS and get large, data for maybe a company wanting to relocate or something. So the mayor's not really sure either where they came from.
So are we gonna hold off on the GIS?
I didn't recommend any changes because I don't know where they came from.
We can leave it the way it is until we investigate, so
Yes.
that's fine. But I did look at them, I said the same thing, go like, wow, that, unfortunately, the guy who set that up is Charlie Colonel.
And who knows where that is? I don't know. But those are crazy, crazy amounts of money for a copy of a map, right? So maybe it's if we have to buy them from People GIS and People GIS gave us those numbers. I don't know, but I'm working with them now on updating the GIS, so I'll ask them.
Okay.
I
Tony,
think
go
the
ahead.
fees are pretty high in other towns. I remember folks used to come in to me to make prints of Mylars because the towns were so expensive. They would try and New London used to give out the Mylars, have them make a copy and then run it back.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They still don't have a copier in New London.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Okay. So do I hear a second on the motion?
Mike Washington.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Questions, concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Motion carries with the recommendation that ZBA should go into the ZBA ordinance. And so that'll have to go to admin to go redraft that ordinance to add this fee structure in. Okay. That's all I had. Any other new business anybody has to bring forward to the committee? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Councilor Washington.
Second. All those in favor? Okay, thank you, everyone, and rest of we'll see you at 7 o'clock again.
See you in a bit.
Okay.
You bet.
I'm not going to stick around for that, guys. So you'll have to fill me in.
No, it's the budget hearing.
I know. I probably should listen to it.
All right, have a good night.
I've been here since 7, so I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
Good night.
Have a good
Hey,
night.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye.